Hi, this is Kay with Girl Meets Meeple, and today I'll be reviewing the 2 to 4 player game, Hats. In Hats, you've been invited to the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, but as with any of the Mad Hatter's parties, every time you start to sit down and enjoy, someone yells, "Switch places." Let's take a quick look at how Hats is played. The game is played using different hat cards to represent the different people attending the party. Each type of cat is represented with its own image, color, and they come in numbers from 1 to 6. To start, each player will be dealt 9 cards, and then the tea table will be filled. On their turn, players will take one of the cards from their hand, and they can either exchange it for a card on the table of the same color, or any card that is of a lower value. So the 6 could be changed for anything of a 5 or less. The card they exchange it for is then put in front of them for scoring at the end of the game. Players can also put cards from their hand face down in front of them to count as black hats at the end of the game. Play proceeds around the table until each player has only one card left in their hand. That will be their favorite hat card. Players then score the cards in front of them based on the position that card shows up on the table in front of them. So for instance, this purple hat is at the 1, so both of my purple cards will be worth 1 point each. I have 2 of them, so that's 2 points. I have no orange cards, but red cards are at the 3rd position, so both of my red cards are worth 3 points each. My black cards that I discarded face down in front of me are worth 1 point at the end of the game. To determine the points for my favorite card, I already counted them based on their T position, but I also get to add their totals together and then subtract the one I kept in my hand. In this case, 6 plus 2 minus 1 equals 7 additional points. All players would then compare how many different card types they have in front of them, and the player with the most card types gets the last cookie. That's worth 5 additional points at the end of the game. Scores are tallied up, and the player with the highest score wins. So that's how the game is played. Now let's talk about the components. This is a card game, and the cards are very nicely made, with lovely whimsical art on them to represent these hats, though there are only 7 images in the base game, so there isn't a wide variety of art, but what there is very lovely, very interesting to look into the details and see which tail each hat represents. The game also comes with this board, which is a very nice little fold-out board, and it comes with this is what's called the napkin in the game, but the backside is the scoring board, and it is a dry erase board, and of course the cookie, which doesn't serve a purpose at all that I can tell, aside from, you give it to the person who had the most diverse set of hats, but it's fun, it's cute, and I have to mention the box. This is just gorgeous production right here. I'm in love with this box. It looks great on the shelf. So those are the components. There's not a lot to it, but what's there is very high quality. Let's talk about the good. Hats is a fast little filler game. It plays in only 8 turns, so games last somewhere around 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how many players and how long people take to think about things. But you do have interesting decisions to make as you play. The shuffling table, as you're trading out cards, trying to make yours the most beneficial, and everyone else is doing the same, means that the board is constantly changing, and you're just trying to get in the best position you can. Also, that favorite hat card is something I've not seen before in a game, and gives you an extra layer of something to think about as you're trying to decide not only what do you want in front of you, but what are you holding back? Because while that can add a lot of points if you get the right ones in front of you, I've also seen people hold the wrong card back and actually end up in negatives before. So it's something to think about as you're playing. which is nice for a fast filler to have good crunchy decisions to make. The art is very whimsical, which is a delight. Let's move on to the bad. I don't have a whole lot to say here. In fact, my biggest complaint is an extremely small quibble, and that's that this is the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, but we do not have a Mad Hatter suit. We don't have an Alice in Wonderland themed hat at all, and I was a little disappointed to see that. I would have loved to see this hat in the game. It's on the box, but it's not in the game, and I would have loved that. But I guess he's the host, so minor quibble, but you know, I'm a big Alice in Wonderland fan. The only other quibble is even smaller, and that's just that when I've taught this game to people, while it's a very simple game, it does seem to take one play, going all the way through and seeing how scoring actually works before it really clicks. After that, it seems to click very easily though, and I think everyone I've played this with has really enjoyed it. So again, barely a quibble with that one. So who would I recommend this game to? I would recommend it to anyone who likes the whimsical art, who is looking for a fast filler game that plays 2 to 4 players, because I've played it at all player counts and it plays extremely well at each one of them. It's also a very family-friendly game, as it is completely reading independent, so even young children can play it as long as they can understand sequencing between 1 and 6, because they have to know that a 3 is bigger than 2 and such. Final thoughts on hats. I really like this game. It's fast, it's fun, I enjoy the art, I enjoy the theme. The interaction between players tends to be good. I suppose there's room for it to get mean if someone looks around and says, hey, you're going to be scoring 5 for a whole big stack. I'm going to make sure I get that off the table. That's a possibility, but the game rewards you for diversifying, and it's all about switching places, so I've never actually had this game feel mean. The interaction has always been tense but fun. So I really enjoy that. I enjoy that it is approachable to a large range of audience. And I really love that favorite hat card. I think that adds a layer I haven't seen before to a light game, but it makes it a little more thinky. And overall, it's a light filler that I really enjoy. It plays quickly, and I highly recommend it. And that is hats. Thank you so much for watching this review. If you enjoyed it, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day and happy gaming.